Good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome to the second day of the 3-day international webinar session. Before we begin today's session, we have few instructions for the participants. Kindly do not unmute your mic during the entire session. Do not introduce yourself in the chat box and post all your questions in the chat box. It will be answered at the end of the session. Submission of feedback form is a must for getting the certificates. And lastly, I kindly request you to use your headphones for better audio quality. Now we'll have the Tamil Thai Valtu. Now, I cordially invite our organizer, Ms. Yuvarani, to deliver the welcome speech.
Thank you, Amrita. Good morning to all. On behalf of Department of Biotechnology, St. Joseph's College of Engineering, it's a great pleasure and honor for me to welcome all the participants, including faculties, students, and research scholars across the globe. My warm welcome to our HOD, my colleagues, and students for Day 2 International Webinar on Recent Developments in Biotechnology. My kind greetings and a special welcome to our resource person, Dr. Selvaraj Arogyaraj sir. I welcome you, sir. Once again, I'm happy to welcome all the participants who has joined the webinar and ready to explore the knowledge on nanotechnology and its applications. Now, I request Ms. Amrita to introduce our speaker, Dr. Selvaraj Arogyaraj sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Our resource person for today's session, Dr. Selvaraj Arokyaraj, will be addressing us on the topic nanomaterial synthesis in biomedical application, followed by job opportunities in life sciences and higher studies opportunities in South Korea. Dr. Selvaraj completed his bachelor's and master's in University of Madras. For bachelor's, he did his bachelor's in microbiology and master's in biotechnology, and went on to pursue his PhD from Satyabama University in the field of microbiology. After which, he worked as an assistant professor in Vailtech High Tech Engineering College, Chennai. From there, he went on to pursue his postdoc from various institutes such as National Institute of Animal Science, Republic of Korea, Seoul National University, Republic of Korea, and also from the National Cancer Center. He is the proud recipient of various awards, some of which are the Bharat Seva Ratan Award by the year 2013 and by the and the Best Teacher Award for 2014 by the Education Today magazine. And also he is the recipient of various seminar grants. Dr. Selvaraj has more than 70 SCI publications and 1,500 plus publications in renowned journals. He has over 10 years of teaching experience along with research experience. Some of his research work includes cervical cancer and microbial association study, rumen methane mitigation, in vitro and in vivo studies, and green synthesis nanoparticles and its bioactivities, and study of rumen microbes after plant extract treatment using RT-PCR and QIIME sequencing. Last but not the least, he's also a real life hero who very recently saved a 5-year-old child drowning in the Han River in Seoul. And currently, he's working as an assistant professor in Sejong University, Republic of Korea. So it's an immense pleasure to have you here along with us today. So I kindly request you to take over the session. Thank you.
So my slide is visible. Is it okay?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. So I thank the St. Joseph College of Engineering and Management for giving me this opportunity for this conference, for this session. So myself, I think you gave a very good introduction. My name is Arupiraj. So currently I am working as an assistant professor in Sunjata University. So I feel proud to be to say that I'm the first life science student from Satyabama University to complete the PhD. So being I'm the first life science student for completing the PhD in Satyabama University, and currently I am working in successful in top world ranking university from like Seoul National University and also in Sejong University. So in this conference, I need to mention about in Tirukkural there is a poet Parvatoda Ottavidugal. So it means according to the right time and according to the generations and technology, we need to adapt. காலத்துக்கு ஏற்ற மாதிரி நம்ம நடந்துக்கணும். So it will make you success. Why I intentionally want to mention this means, so in this corona period, the entire India and most of the world has been locked down, and most of the places has been shut down, and most of the education institutions has been locked down. So even though there is a lockdown, universities and education institute like St. Joseph College, you are continuously organizing the conference like this. So this kind of conference will motivate and initiate the students. Okay, so personally I appreciate the management for organizing this event. So in this session I wish to discuss about these other things. I will discuss about what are the importance of nanoparticles and applications of nanoparticles, and what are the techniques involved in a nanoparticle and also how we can identify the nanoparticle formation, and how we can characterize the nanoparticles, and what are the job opportunities in pharma industries in India, and also how we can go for higher studies opportunities in South Korea. Okay, so particularly in nanoscience, biotechnology, and in molecular biology. So before going to the conference, so I particularly need to appreciate the students who are studying the biotechnology, because in this corona session, in this corona period lockdown, so the government of India have announced a lockdown on March 25th. March 25th, 2020. So after the lockdown, no buses were running, no airplane, no train, no industries were running. Okay. So along with this, to control the corona pandemic disease, many doctors, nurses, and cleaning staffs and policemen are effectively working to prevent the corona infections. Along with this, many people they forget. It is the biotechnologists, the molecular biologists who are continuously working the PCR machine for detecting the coronavirus. So personally, I appreciate and my royal salute for the molecular biologists for working in this corona period. So coming to the introduction, so what is nanotechnology? I think many people know that nanotechnology means, so it is a technology for development of any equipments or any applications in nanoscale level. So particularly it ranges from 1 to 100 nanometer. So but most of the effective nanoparticles, if you develop the nanoparticle with 5 to 20 nanometer, it is very it will be effectively more applicable. And next thing, so nanoparticle based material have been increased in particularly in food industries, because these nanoparticles are considered to be non-toxic. What is the main important factors for nanoparticles? Is nanoparticles are highly stable at high temperature and pressures. Okay, so since these nanoparticles are stable at high temperature and pressure, so many researchers and many private organizations and government organizations and industries, they're coming up with the novel techniques and methods and products that have directly application of nanotechnology, particularly in food science industry. Okay, so apart from the food science industries, nanoparticles are widely applied in medical, particularly for wound healing, like nano bandages, and also in pharmaceutical applications like drug delivery systems. For consumer goods, like nanoparticle has been used in like shampoo, soaps, detergents, and cosmetic products, okay, and also in toothpaste. So I am working in food industries, food department. So since I am working in food departments. So I used to develop the nanoparticle based upon the food products, the microbes that causes the damage to the food products. So I used to work. So why we need to develop the nanoparticles for particularly the food products means, for example, this thing. So usually this kind of food products are used for long-term storage. If it is a market, if it is in a food market, so this kind of food products are used to stored. We used to store the food product and used to keep the food products for like 6 months or even a year. So during the storage condition, if there is any unfavorable conditions, so usually the unfavorable conditions like if there is change in temperature, change in pressure, and also if there is any physical damage in the container, so it makes some microbial contamination, and this microbial contamination will cause severe health effects to the consumers. And once if you take this food material, you feel the symptoms like abdominal pain, diarrhea, fever, vomiting, dehydration. So these are the symptoms. And these are the common foodborne pathogens like E. coli, Salmonella, Staphylococcus aureus, Listeria monocytosis. Okay. So to prevent this kind of foodborne pathogens, so nanoparticle has been developed and applied in food packaging industries. Okay. So now we can see many recent publications. Is it nanotechnology is a recent one? No. So traditionally we are using this kind of nanoparticles for thousands of years. Still, till now, even today, we can see the use of silver utensils. Okay. So ஒரு வீட்டில் ஒரு குழந்தை இருக்குதுன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அந்த குழந்தை பிறந்த பிறகு அந்த குழந்தைக்கு அந்த பால் சூடான பாலை வந்து அந்த வெள்ளி டம்ளர்ல கொடுப்பாங்க, வெள்ளி கிண்ணத்துல கொடுப்பாங்க. So this is kind of nanoparticle applications. Okay. And also in the ancient in Tirukural, it has been mentioned in 2300 years before, it has been mentioned nunnium envar. So it means nanoscale level. So we need to measure in the nanoscale level. Okay. And the word nano has been mentioned in Tirukural, and also this kind of nanotechnology, particularly in food science, it has been applied traditionally from generation to generation for more than thousands of years in India. So it is not a new purpose, it's a new one. So what are the applications of nanotechnology in food industries? So the main thing in food industries to improve the nutritional value of the food, and second, like to prevent it acts as an anti-caking agent. Okay, as I mentioned earlier. So the factors. So once if you pack the food material, if it is rice flour or wheat flour, for example, this is the wheat flour. So once if it is exposed in air, so air content during rainy season, it contains a moisture and humid environment. And this moisture and humid environment, it absorbs the water content, and this rice flour or wheat flour will absorb the moisture content, and it makes some clumping. Okay, and this clumps, it makes the microbes to grow, makes the fungus to grow, and also makes the also it attacks other insects. Okay, so this makes the damages to the food industry. Okay, so therefore to prevent the clumping, okay, it acts as an anti-caking agent. So to prevent the anti-caking agent, silver nanoparticles were used. Okay, silver nanoparticles were used. Next, to protect the aroma and also to protect the flavor and also to protect the nutrient ingredients in the food, nanoparticles has been used. It acts as an antimicrobial agent, nanoparticle, and also nanoparticle are used as a biosensor, nanobiosensor for the pathogen detection. For example, you can see this is the food container of the chicken chickpea. So this chickpea is it can be stored for minimum 6 months to 1 year. So during the storage, if there is any physical damage or if there is any microbial contamination, so you can see here the development of sensor. So sensor for antibacterial activities. So this sensor, so particularly if the growth of fungi or mold or any particular bacteria growth, and this particular bacteria or microbes will release some enzymes, and these enzymes will be directed or sensed by the gold sensor or silver nanoparticle sensor or copper nanosensor, any type of sensor. Okay, so we can change, we can detect the color changes. This is one type of application. And second type of applications, so nanotech membranes. So in this cover lid, nanotech membrane are used. Why this nanotech membrane are used? Mainly is to block the moisture. Okay. So mainly to block the moisture. So if there is moisture, definitely the food product will get spoiled. So these are the main application. Other application like it acts as an antimicrobial agents. So next, you can in this slide you can see the silver nanoparticle are used as I mentioned earlier. It has been used as a packaging industry. You can see this kind of silver nanoparticles are used in the Ziploc packages, and you can see here used as a food packaging like for chicken and meat packages. Next, nano bandages. So inhibition of bacteria by silver colloidal inhibitor bandages are used. So these are the applications. Okay. So nanoparticle particularly used in food packaging industries. And also by using the nanoparticle, we can use biosensor for pathogen detections, and also for the development of nano bandages, silver colloidal bandages. So recently now in Corona period, so in Israel they have developed the zinc and copper oxide nanoparticles into the textiles for the face masks to prevent the virus infections. You can see. So they used to impregnate the zinc oxide nanoparticle and copper oxide nanoparticle into the cloths, mainly to inhibit or to prevent the entry of coronavirus infections. Okay. So what are the other applications of nanoparticles? So nanoparticle have been used as it can be used as for imaging, a biosensor, gene therapy, drug delivery, and cancer therapy. So what is the major applications, or what is the major mechanism of this kind of nanoparticle, and how this nanoparticle can inhibit the growth of microorganisms? The first thing is a nanoparticle, it generates the reactive oxygen species. So what is reactive oxygen species? So reactive oxygen species nothing but, so this is the bacterial cell wall. This is the bacterial cell wall. It contains the DNA and protein content and other enzymes. Okay. So once the nanoparticle is released into the bacteria, and when the nanoparticles are exposed to the bacteria, maybe the wound healing like Staphylococcus aureus or some other bacteria which makes wound, which generates the wound. So this nanoparticle will generate the reactive oxygen species, and this reactive oxygen species will disturb the cell membrane, and it causes the DNA damages and protein denaturation. So what is reactive oxygen species? So reactive oxygen species is nothing but it is an unstable molecule that contains oxygen and that easily react with other molecule within the cell. So what happens if more amount of reactive oxygen species is increased? Okay, increase in reactive oxygen species in cells. Okay, the amount of generation of reactive oxygen species is increased, so it may cause damages to the DNA and RNA and proteins and may cause a cell death. So this is the main mechanism, antimicrobial mechanism of the nanoparticles. Okay. So again I repeat. So this nanoparticle will generate the reactive oxygen species, and this reactive oxygen species will causes the cell membrane damages. It will enable the DNA replications, protein denaturations. Okay. These are the common mechanisms. In case of virus, you can see. So these nanoparticles can disturb the lipid layer. So once if the lipid layer is disturbed, and also it can disturb the RNA. So these are the mechanism for bacteria. For bacteria, the main mechanism cell wall disruption, DNA damage, protein denaturation, and for RNA, for virus, mostly it damages the cell membrane, dissolution of lipid layer, and also the RNA content. Okay. So now, what are the other applications? So as I mentioned earlier, so this kind of nanoparticle can be used for the development of sensing mechanisms. So that is a report. This kind of particularly in food industry, this kind of nanoparticle has been used. There is a concept called ripening. Okay, look this image. So this is a kiwi fruit. Okay, this kiwi fruit is packed in. It is a smart packaging. So before that, I mentioned what is the difference between active packaging and smart packaging. So active packaging is a normal one, normal packaging. Mainly, it has antimicrobial activity. It scavenges the ethylene, and also it acts as a sensor for heating and cooling. It absorbs the moisture like a silica nanoparticle. It also like it absorbs the odor and flavor, and also it absorbs the oxygen scavenging thing. For smart packaging, so if you smart packaging, these are all for the example of smart packaging is this is the example. Okay, so it contains a sensing mechanism. So how this sensing mechanism work? If there is a change in temperature, so this fruit, kiwi fruit, need to store at 15 degree. In case if you store the food at 20 degree, so this sensing mechanism will indicate with color changes. It means the food is spoiled. So that is the reason, like smart packaging. So it contains a time and temperature indicator. Next, a microbial spoilage sensor indicator. If there is a microbial growth, it can be detected. And physical shock indicator. If there is any damages in the fruits, so it can detect leakage sensor, an allergy sensor, and microbial growth sensor. Okay. So similarly, so is it understand? Prita?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So similarly, so mainly this kind of sensing mechanism, biosensor, has been used particularly in the food industry. The best example is when we harvest the fruit. Okay, if you harvest the fruits or vegetables, after like for example, if you're harvesting a banana, okay, so banana, after harvesting the banana, while harvesting the banana, it will be in the mature state, it will be green color. After 3 days or 4 days, it becomes yellow color. Next, after 7 days, it becomes like it contains like a brown black spots. Then after 2 weeks later, completely black color. So why, how this happened? Because after harvesting the fruits and vegetables, they release the ethylene. Okay, so once this ethylene is released, the amount of ethylene is released, you can see the spoilage of the fruits and vegetable is happens faster. Okay, so recently there are many techniques. What they means, they develop. So this is a nanoparticles, and they develop some. So it is a report found in published in this kind of journal, Food Journal. So they use a gold nanoparticle, and this gold electrodes and carbon nanotubes, doped with carbon nanotubes, and these carbon nanotubes and gold electrodes, it sense the presence of ethylene emission. If there is ethylene is released, automatically you can see the you can detect. Okay, you can see here. So this is the packaging material. So the amount of ethylene released, it is observed by the sensor, and you can see the color change. So if it is black, this is dark color, it means the fruit is okay. If you can see, this is the thing. Okay, so if this is a light color, it means the fruit is fresh. The fruits or vegetable is fresh. If it is dark in color, it gets spoiled. So how this kind of indicators happen? By means of ethylene. So people who are interested in nanoparticle, we can develop some sensor like some nanosensor, maybe in food industries like this. And also there are other applications like, for example, you can see the fishy smell. So once if you catch the fish, after if you coming to the market, you can see the smell. That smell is because of a hypoxanthine level. And this hypoxanthine level, so there are several type of nanosensor. They develop the nanosensor. So like a gold nanosensor, gold nanoparticles, or any copper oxide nanoparticle. And these copper nanoparticles or gold nanoparticles is immobilized with the enzyme xanthine oxidase. Okay, so what is the major role of xanthine oxidase? If the amount of hypoxanthine level in this fish is increased, you can see the color changes level. Okay, so this is the color change. Okay, so apart from the food industries, how this nanoparticle can be used? This kind of nanoparticles are used in the particularly in wound healing. It acts as a very good wound healing properties because the traditional approach. So usually, if you have some wound infections, they apply some like a topical treatment. Okay, so but recently there are many reports and many products they use to develop the nanoparticles based upon the silver nanoparticle, gold nanoparticle, zinc nanoparticles, mainly for the treatment of wound healing, for healing the wound infections. So particularly, what is the major advantage of wound healing means this kind of silver nanoparticle or any nanoparticle, it makes the wound healing, it recovers the fast recovery and also the minimum scarring. Okay, the damage, the scar level is minimum. So this is the common so initial contamination, then later it makes a condensation, the localized infections, and this wound makes a spread to the other part of the thing. And recently, there are many applications of nano bandages. You can see here. Why these kind of nano bandages, silver nanoparticles, silver nano bandages are used? Mainly because this kind of applications. And you can see the products. Okay, these are the products like a nano Acticone. It is a product. It is antimicrobial resistant product developed with the silver nanoparticles, silver technology. So this nano bandages was it shows efficacy against the antimicrobial against the more than 150 organisms, particularly the methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus. Okay, so these are the things. Another thing, for normal process, if for normal wound dressing, we need to make the dress. We need to clean the wound every day. But this kind of silver nano bandages is 3 time, okay, 3 day, we can use this. Next, the antibacterial inhibition within 30 minutes. We can it shows a very good antimicrobial activity within 30 minutes, and also it reduces the risk of infections. So as I mentioned earlier, this kind of silver nanoparticles and nano bandages may reduce the scar level. Okay, you can see this is a normal, and after using the silver nanobandages or nanobandages, you can see the minimum scar level. Okay, so why this kind of silver nanoparticles or nanobandages are highly effective means because the pure silver nanoparticle can modulate the anti-inflammatory cytokine release in order to promote the rapid wound closure without increasing the scarring. Okay. So this is the main advantages of silver nanoparticle. Particularly, it decreases the scarring level, and also the side effect. Since it is external applications, the toxicity is less. Okay. So also there are several reports like silver nanoparticle reported to have a very wide range of, apart from the antimicrobial activity and also apart from the other external applications, these nanoparticles have very good optical property, electrical conductivity, catalytic activity, sensing and bacterial effect, and also how this silver nanoparticle can be synthesized. So this nanoparticle can be synthesized by means of several methods. There are mechanical method, chemical method, labor ablation method, and next there are several methods. So this kind of method they have for most of the method they have advantages and also several disadvantages. The disadvantages is the toxicity level. Usually, if you apply some physical method and chemical method, you need to apply some high pressure, high temperature, and also toxic chemicals. So and it is hazard to the environment. Since we are working in biotechnology, in biofuel, particularly for human applications, so we need to careful with the toxicity level. Okay, so since once if you develop the food, any food packaging products, since we are, it is since we are, the consumer is human, the nanoparticle should not affect the human. Okay, so we need to be careful for the toxicity. So considering the toxic effect, so green synthesis nanoparticles are highly recommended considering the non-toxic effect. And this kind of nanoparticle can be synthesized by means of bacteria, plant, and also other microbes. So the same method. So the main advantages of development of green synthesis of nanoparticle. The first one is environment friendly, and also no need of high temperature, pressure, energy, and toxic chemicals. So whatever research you are doing, so before conducting a research or before conducting some study, we need to make some background study. So you can see in the year 2020, so more than 100 papers or report has been reported for the development of nanoparticles and applications. In 2019, around 293. So So it means this kind of nanoparticle applications has been highly recommended and used for the public and also used for the consumer. And these are the recent report from us. We synthesize the nanoparticles, and also we check the antibacterial and and also the cytotoxic effect of the synthesized nanoparticles. And this is the last year we published 12 nanoparticles, and these antibacterial properties we check. And these are the recent reports. Okay, so coming to the objectives, what is the objective of our studies? So as I mentioned earlier, so we synthesize nanoparticles using the root extract, maybe the flower extract, and also once a nanoparticle is synthesized, we used to characterize. We characterize using the various techniques, spectroscopic techniques like XRD, scanning electron microscope, EDX, transmission electron microscope, and DLS and FTIR, and also we check the antimicrobial properties. Since I am working in biological field, so we check the antimicrobial mechanism using the two pathogens. It is a food pathogens, and also it occurs and it makes a wound. Okay, Staphylococcus aureus and Pseudomonas aeruginosa. For mechanism, how this antimicrobial mechanism happens by the single nanoparticle, we studied using the scanning electron microscope, and also we checked whether the protein leakage happens or not. And also, since it is since we are application for humans, we check the toxic level. So these are the bacteria microbes we studied, and this is for cytotoxic study. We use the 3T3 cell lines, and for synthesis of nanoparticle, we use the flower and root extracts. And for phytochemical analysis, we check what are the process of phytochemical compounds present in the plant extract using the tannin stick. For characterization, these are the techniques. Okay, so coming to the result. So coming to the result, you can see here. So as I mentioned earlier, so we use the flower extract, and also we use the root extract of the plant material. So this is aqueous extract. So after the addition of aqueous extract, we found the silver nitrate solution has been converted into silver ions. Okay, the development of nanoparticles. We didn't apply any high temperature and also by chemical. So it means we synthesize nanoparticle, and how this nanoparticle has been synthesized. So we performed the phytochemical analysis. In this phytochemical analysis, we found the presence of the secondary metabolites like tannins, flavonoids, and other proteins. And these secondary metabolites has been already reported to act as bioreductants, act as capping, reducing and capping agent for the development of nanoparticles. Okay, so first we synthesized a nanoparticle. Next, we made some conformation analysis. How this nanoparticle can be, we need to make some additional report. Okay, so how the development of nanoparticle. So we performed the UV analysis. In this UV analysis, we detected the surface plasma resonance band at 40 nanometer. Next, the particle size. The average particle size was found to be usually the particle size range in between the 11 to 210 nanometer. So therefore, the average size of the nanoparticle was around 121 nanometer. So mostly, if the particle size are lesser, the activity will be higher. So in our case, the nanoparticle size was around 121. So if you synthesize a nanoparticle within 5 to 20 nanometer, or within 50 nanometer, or within 100 nanometer, so these nanoparticles are highly effective. And also for antimicrobial application, the lesser the nanoparticle size, the higher the activity. Okay. Then we use the characterization XRD method. So in XRD, it finds that the nanoparticle will be single crystal molecule. Next, we need to find the stability of the molecule. Usually, for physical method and chemical method, for example, if you develop some nanoparticle based upon chemical approach, use some standard chemicals. Okay, so even though by using the chemical method, there are several advantages and also disadvantages. So disadvantages is toxic level. So advantages is the nanoparticle. Once it is in this nanoparticle, it will be stable. Okay. So, but in case of plant extract, there is some disadvantages. Once if you, for example, today I am synthesizing a nanoparticle. So after 6 months, if I check the nanoparticle will not be stable. that is the main drawbacks. So we need to check the stability of the nanoparticle. So in our case, we checked the stability. For zeta potential analysis, it shows the value around 21.665 millivolt. So it means this value is found to be our synthesis nanoparticle found to be stable. Next, we confirmed the nanoparticles. What are the compounds? Okay, so since it is extract, so in this extract there are thousands of compounds will be there. So out of thousands or hundreds of compounds, not all compounds are responsible. Maybe some 2 or 3 compounds may be responsible. So by means of DCM gas chromatography mass spectroscopy analysis, we detected what are the major compounds. So in that major compound, once if we detect the major compound, we can separate those kind of compounds. Okay, the major compounds like the compound, like the compound. For example, if you check here, so out of some 20 compounds, so we need to select only 2 or 3 major compounds, and these 2 or 3 major compounds again you can use for synthesis purpose. Why means once if you know the major compounds, it can be used in the industry level. Okay, for industrial application you can use. So for those kind of industrial application, we need to know what are the compounds responsible for the nanoparticle synthesis. Next, as I mentioned earlier, the size of the nanoparticle and shape of the nanoparticle is very important. So this is our report. So we published in the International Journal of Nanomedicine. So mostly the particle size are less than 100 nanometer. So since it is for antimicrobial applications, so this kind of lesser size, like less than 100 nanometers, is very effective. The smaller particle size of cellular nanoparticle, it means the smaller the value, the higher the antimicrobial activity. If the particle size is smaller, it shows the high antimicrobial activity. And this is the report. Like we perform the disk antimicrobial assay. We use the disk diffusion method and well diffusion method. You can see here, this is Staphylococcus aureus and Pseudomonas aeruginosa. You can see this is the plant extract. Zone of inhibition. Control, we use the standard antibiotics. You can see the clear zone of inhibition. And nanoparticle, you can see the clear zone of inhibition. And this is the other bacteria, Klebsiella pneumonia, Bacillus subtilis, food poisoning bacteria. E. coli, it makes a food poisoning bacteria. Staphylococcus epidermis, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, it makes a wound forming bacteria. Staphylococcus aureus, wound forming bacteria. You can see this is the plant extract. This is the control. We use antibiotic and we use a silver nitrate solution and also silver nanoparticle. You can see compared to the control and silver nitrate solution, you can see the nanoparticle level. The silver nanoparticle shown to be higher activity. Okay, so what is the major mechanism for this kind of higher activity? So this antimicrobial, the silver nanoparticle, the major antimicrobial mechanism may be as I mentioned earlier. So once this nanoparticle is exposed to the microbes, to the bacterial cell, so the free radicals was released by the bacteria. So once the free radical is released, so it makes the cell wall damages. Next, it damages the DNA, and also it affects the protein synthesis. This is the major mechanism. So to confirm whether the protein leakage happens or not. Okay, to confirm the protein leakage is working or not. So we need to confirm. So in our study, we perform the quantification. So we measure the protein leakage level in the nanoparticle treated bacteria and also nanoparticle non-treated bacteria. You can see this is the control. This control bacteria not treated with nanoparticle, and this is treated with nanoparticle. And this is the bacteria Staphylococcus aureus and Pseudomonas aeruginosa. You can see the percentage. Okay, so control the nanoparticle level. The protein level is around 7%, and Pseudomonas aeruginosa 11%. So after incubating the nanoparticle with the bacteria, so after incubation, you can see the protein level concentration has been increased. Here, so from 7 to 10 and 11 to 14. It means so the protein the protein leakage happens. Next, so previously I mentioned. So previously I mentioned these are the common mechanism. The common mechanism antimicrobial inhibitions. The first one is cell wall damage, DNA damage, and protein damage. So for protein inhibitions or protein leakage, we performed analysis. Next, to study the cell wall damages, we perform the scanning electron microscope. So same thing. This is a controlled bacteria, and this is a treated bacteria, Staphylococcus aureus, Pseudomonas aeruginosa. So you can see the Staphylococcus aureus. In control, it is not treated with the bacteria. Not treated with the silver nanoparticle. Okay. So this is the silver nanoparticle method. You can see. So this control bacteria, this control we not treated with nanoparticle. This rod-shaped bacteria not treated with nanoparticle. You can see the images, the shape of the nanoparticles. The shape of the bacteria. Okay. So for Staphylococcus aureus, it appears to be the clear. Okay. And caucus shape without any changes in the cell morphology. There is no any change in the cell morphology in the control. And for Pseudomonas aeruginosa, similarly the same result. But after incubation, okay, after treatment with nanoparticle, you can see there is a. So after nanoparticle treatment, you can see there is a. You can see whereas the silver nanoparticle treated cells showed membrane building and also distortion. Okay, so this is the thing. And same result we observed for the Pseudomonas aeruginosa. So you can see the treated cells showed irregular shaped bacteria and also ruptured bacterial cell. So if you observe in the scanning electron microscope, you can see this kind of cell wall changes. It means this our particular nanoparticle it damages the cell membrane. Okay, so this is the additional result. So previously we performed the antimicrobial studies. Next we performed the protein leakage assay. Okay. Next we performed the scanning electron microscope assay. Okay. So these are the additional parameters. Next, since we are working in for human applications, so even though it is a metal, okay, nanoparticle, there are some reports like silicon nanoparticle. So silicon nanoparticle are used as an anti-caking agent. So once if you expose, like if you inhale, so it is inhale like so this kind of silicon nanoparticle are reported to has a cytotoxic in human cells, lung cells. Okay, so we need to be careful. And also there are other reports like a small size of nanoparticles may increase the risk of bioaccumulation within the body. Okay, so since these nanoparticles we are using for food industry like food packing industries, there is some chances for release of nanoparticles into our body, into our organs. Okay, so we need to be careful. So therefore, whatever product you are developing, whatever nanoparticle you are developing, you need to be careful for the toxic effect. So similarly, in our study, we performed the toxicity analysis using the 3T3 cell line. So in this cell line, you can see here, this is the control, and this is the treated cell. We use two different concentration, 25 microgram and 50 microgram concentration. Why we use this two different concentration means for antimicrobial studies we use the level of 25 microgram concentration. Okay, so at 25 microgram concentration, the antimicrobial inhibition was effective. So therefore, for toxicity studies, we used two concentration, 25 microgram concentration and 50 microgram concentration. Similarly, you can see here in the control cells, it can be clearly observed that. So you can see in the control cell, so it can be clearly observed that the cells treated with cellular nanoparticle at 25 microgram have a well-developed nucleus and devoid of peripheral cellular disruption, whereas the cell treated with 50 microgram concentration, there is a systematic changes in the morphological features of the cells. Okay, so there is a change in the cell shape happened. Okay, so it means we synthesize the nanoparticle and we use the nanoparticle concentration for 25 microgram for antimicrobial inhibition, and this particular antimicrobial inhibition at 25 microgram concentration is safe. If you increase the concentration, it shows a toxic effect. So that is the point. Okay, so finally, so our target we are in the process for developing of already we synthesized nanoparticle, and also we have concluded that our developed nanoparticle was safe at particular concentration. At higher concentration is toxic. So we are in the process of developing the nano bandages, and also we have some process for nano packaging material. Okay. So from this I concluded my nanoparticle development and also my nano study. Okay. So so in this session, I will discuss about what are the job opportunities, what are the higher studies opportunities in Korea. So this is not for the faculties and for other scholars. So only for the master students, and also PhD, those who are applying for PhD, those who are interested to do postdoc opportunities, you can listen. Okay. So is it okay? Is it audible? கேக்குதுங்களா?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I need some interaction because the session was silent. I feel some boring. So many people they raise some queries. I will at the end of the session I will answer them. Okay. So in this session, people can raise questions about how to get a PhD opportunities and possibility opportunities. Okay. Okay. So in Tirukural there is a poem called so Vagutan Vagutta Vagayallal. Okay. So I feel most of them are master degree or bachelor degree in biotechnology. So you should have some objectives. Okay. So particularly if you take some so there is some confusion. Like many people they don't know. Like after finishing my bachelor degree in BTech biotechnology or MSc biotechnology, after finishing my PhD, I don't know how to get a job. Okay. So there are plenty of job opportunities. Okay. In India, in Korea, and also abroad. And these are the specialization. Like you can become like a biotechnologist, you can become as a higher education professor like me, like a PhD professors, and marine biologists, microbiologists, nanotechnologists. So there are several divisions. So you need to be focused. Okay, in what field you need to choose. Okay, you need to decide. So next you need to make some decision. Okay, you need to make some decision. So any tuniya karmam. Okay, so once if you choose your career, like if you want to in case if you want to do your master program or PhD program, so definitely you need to sacrifice, like you need to calculate, okay, for master program it takes some 2 years, and so you need to make a prior plan. Okay, so ஒரு வேலை செய்யறதுக்கு முன்னாடி நீங்க அதெல்லாம் யோசிச்சு வச்சிருக்கணும். ஒரு நீங்க 2 வருஷம் நீங்க மாஸ்டர் பண்ண போறீங்க, 5 வருஷம் நீங்க PhD பண்ண போறீங்க, மொத்தமா ஒரு 7 வருஷம். Totally it takes 7 years to complete a master and PhD program. So in these 7 years, so only for students, not for the faculties, I'm addressing this thing. So in these 7 years, so you will face a lot of problems, like you will face economic problem, you may face some family pressure and also some work pressure. Okay, so you need to think about that. So you need to ready to face. That's why you need to ready to face. Okay, once if நான் PhD பண்ண போறேன், PhD பண்ணும்போது எனக்கு இவ்வளவு இடர்பாடுகள் வரும். Because why I'm telling means when I'm doing my PhD in Sathya Bhama University, same kind of pressure, family pressure, economic pressure, work pressure are faced. Not only for me, most of the PhDs it happens like that. Okay, so for most of the PhD, most of the research, particularly our job is life science. Life science means like a child. Okay, இன்னைக்கு பெரும்பாலும் பாத்தீங்கன்னா so just I speak in Tamil. So இன்னைக்கு பெரும்பாலும் இன்னைக்கு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா கொரோனா காலகட்டத்துல இன்னைக்கு கிட்டத்தட்ட மார்ச் 25 இருந்து அன்னைக்கு முதல்ல லாக்டவுன் வருது. லாக்டவுன் ஆரம்பிச்சிருந்து இன்னைக்கு பெரும்பாலும் எதுவுமே ஓடல, பஸ் ஓடல, ரயில் ஓடல, கார் ஓடல. ஆனா ஒரே ஒரு மிஷின் மட்டும் தான் ஓடிட்டு இருக்குது, பிசிஆர் மிஷின் மட்டும் தான். ஓகேங்களா? அரசு மருத்துவர்கள், செவிலியர்களை விட ஆராய்ச்சியாளர்கள் யாரெல்லாம் வந்து பிசிஆர் மிஷின் ஆப்ரேட் பண்றாங்களோ அவங்க தான் தொடர்ந்து ஒர்க் பண்ணிட்டே இருந்தாங்க. ஸோ அதனால லைஃப் சயின்ஸ் இஸ் வெரி வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். புரியுதுங்களா? லைஃப் சயின்ஸ் வெரி வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். இது போல ஒரு குரூஷியல் டைம்ல லைஃப் சயின்ஸ் தேவை. Okay, so in case if you want to do your master degree or PhD, definitely you need to sacrifice 7 years. 7 வருஷம் நீங்க மறந்துடணும். You need to sacrifice 7 years. Okay, so even you get some minimum salary, you compare to your friends. Okay, sometimes you get some family pressure, like you need to get married soon. சில பேர் parents சொல்லுவாங்க கல்யாணம் பண்ணுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. We have some love proposal also. சில பேர் காதல் பிரச்சனை இருக்கும், சூழ்நிலை இருக்கும். So definitely, if you want to do a master PhD, you need to sacrifice. Next, after completing your master degree or PhD, okay, PhD முடிக்கிறீங்க, the entire scenario, the scene will be changed. ஒன்னு முடிச்சிட்டீங்கன்னா உங்களுடைய economy increase ஆகும், you have good status and also job security. Okay, so you need to update, like as I mentioned, பருவத்தோட ஒட்ட ஒழுகல். We need to update our technology. We need to update. Okay, even after PhD, you need to go for postdoc. Like you need to do research. You need to make some publication. You need to update your technology. அப்படியே உங்களை இன்னைக்கு காலத்துக்கு ஏற்ற மாதிரி நீங்க வந்து உங்களை அப்டேட் பண்ணிட்டே இருந்தாதான் நம்ம லைஃப்ல செக்யூர் ஆக முடியும், பணமும் கிடைக்கும், ஜாபும் வேலை, அதாவது பயம் இருக்காது, பயப்பட்டாங்க நம்ம வேலையை விட்டு எடுத்துருவாங்களோ அந்த பயமே தேவையில்லை. Okay, so these are the list of top universities in South Korea. So I think many people they're not aware of this. So most of the people they used to go to US, UK, Canada like that. But South Korea have most of the world ranking universities. Okay, many top ranking universities. South Korea have top ranking universities compared to other countries. And here, so far I recommended around some nine students. Nine students. So most of the students, they are getting scholarship around 1,000 to 1,500 US$ for master and PhD program. புரியுதுங்களா? ஒரு மாஸ்டர் டிகிரி பண்றதுக்கு பிஹெச்டி பண்றதுக்கு ஒரு மாணவர்கள் வந்து கிட்டத்தட்ட இங்க வந்து இந்திய பட்ஜெட் படி 80,000 முதல் 1,00,000 வரை வந்து அவங்க ஸ்டைஃபண்ட் உதவித்தொகை வாங்குறாங்க படிக்கிறதுக்கு. So South Korea have very good plenty of opportunity. Particularly, there are many top ranking universities compared to global other universities. You can see this is the time higher education 2019, Seoul National University, 63rd position. In case of IIT, sorry to say that, அவங்களாம் வந்து 150, they are above 150க்கு இல்ல 200 பின்னாடி இருக்கிறாங்க. Okay, Sangokang University. Okay, there are many universities. So these are the universities. You can go to the website. Okay, I will tell you how to apply. Okay, so these are the list of universities. So people for master or PhD, you need to just make a note. These are the top ranking universities: Seoul National University, Sangokang University, Korea Institute of Science and Technology. So particularly people who have the very good advanced knowledge in sensor, development of biosensor, you can apply this institute. Then post-tech, Korea University. So there are many several type of university. Why I am particularly mentioning South Korea means, like in South Korea they have some reservation quota. Like in India we have some reservation pattern. Similarly in South Korea also they have some reservation quota. Like out of 100 students, 15 students should be a foreigner. So therefore, if you apply within the 15 students, it is easy for you to get the master degree opportunities or PhD opportunity. எப்படி நம்ம இந்தியாவில் வந்து இடஒதுக்கீடு கொள்கை இருக்கோ அதே போல இங்க கொரியாவிலையும் தென்கொரியாவிலையும் பார்த்தோம்னா வெளிநாட்டு மாணவர்கள், வெளிநாட்டு ஆசிரியர்களுக்குன்னு ஒரு குறிப்பிட்ட ஒதுக்கீடு இருக்கு. 100 மாணவர்கள்ல ஒரு 15 மாணவர்கள் வெளிநாட்டு மாணவர்கள் ஒதுக்குவாங்க. So particularly most of the South Korean professors, they like, they love and they appreciate the Indian students. Okay, so these are the other type of universities: Yonsei University, Hanyang University. So these are the top ranking universities. Okay, for example, so there is a two-way to approach the master degree or PhD. So the one is direct approach, and second one is indirect approach. So direct way method. So direct approach, like usually if you go to the university website, these are the universities. So if you go to any of the university website, they will make some notification like master degree applications are wanted, PhD applications are wanted, like that. So that is the direct approach. The indirect approach, I will say the other method. So for example, this is Sejong University. If you go for the Sejong University, so if you click the option academic option, there are many departments you can see, like a College of Liberal Arts, College of Social Science, Business, like that. So if you select the College of Life Science divisions, okay, in the Life Science, the School of Life Science, there are several departments. You can see Food Science Department, Biotechnology Department, Molecular Biology Department, Bioresource Engineering Department. Okay, so if you are interested in engineering, like for example, some students they have very good knowledge in developing some electronic level, like some artificial heart, lungs, சில பயோமெடிக்கல் இன்ஜினியரிங் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ், சில பயோமெடிக்கல் இன்ஜினியரிங் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் வந்து அவங்களுக்கு வந்து ரொம்ப அந்த செயற்கையான ஒரு இருதயம், இல்லை வந்து பிளட் ப்ரெஷர் பார்க்குற இன்ஸ்ட்ருமெண்ட், இது போல சில இன்ஸ்ட்ருமெண்ட்ஸ் அவங்களுக்கு அந்த ஆர்வம் இருக்கும். ஸோ தோஸ் பீப்புள் ஹூ ஆர் இன்ட்ரெஸ்டட் இன் பயோமெடிக்கல் இன்ஜினியரிங் யூ கேன் சூஸ். ஓகே, ஸோ சின்ஸ் ஐ எம் ஒர்க்கிங் இன் food science technology, so I will give an example. So I am from food science, so you need to choose a food science department. So if you choose the food science department, in one department minimum 8 to 10 professors will be there. Okay, so you can see 1 2 3 4 5 6 several, some minimum 8 to 10 professors will be there. So if you choose each professor, okay, so you can see their major, what is your research interest. So this is professor 1. His research area is dairy and functional products, nano food. And this is professor 2, food microbiology, what I'm doing. And professor 3, food chemistry and food enzymology. Okay, and this is a professor 4, like flavor science, chemical management. Okay, so you need to analyze or you need to read the individual professor like one by one. So professor 1, professor 2, 3 and 4. Okay, then you need to choose your research interest. Okay, so based upon research interest you need to contact. You can see here, this is the email ID. So ஒரு டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் நீங்க போனீங்கன்னா அந்த டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்ல ஒரு ப்ரொஃபசர்ஸ் இருப்பாங்க. அந்த ப்ரொஃபசர்ஸ் யாரால என்னென்ன ஆய்வு மேற்கொள்றாங்கன்னு நீங்க பார்க்கணும். ஸோ இங்க இருக்கிற ப்ரொஃபசர்ஸ் வந்து ஃபங்க்ஷனல் ஃபுட்ஸ், மைக்ரோபயாலஜி, ஃபுட் மைக்ரோபயாலஜி, கெமிஸ்ட்ரி, அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து கெமிக்கல் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட், இல்லை வந்து ஃபுட் ப்ராசஸிங். ஸோ உங்களுடைய விருப்பத்துக்கு ஏற்ப உங்களுடைய நீங்க உங்க ஆசிரியரை நீங்க தேர்வு செய்யணும். ஓகேங்களா? So next, another mistake, what is the common mistake most of the students they do? What they will do, they will prepare one resume and they will send their resume to all their professors. Okay, so that is a very it is not a good decision. Okay, so in case if you want to, because this is one department. Okay, so this is a food science department. So even in food science department, all these 8 professors, okay, they have very good network. Okay, so if you send application to all professors, it will create a bad impression to you. So therefore, never ever send your application to all professors. You need to particularly send to one professor. If it is a food science department, you send to one professor. Okay, and you wait. And you need to wait for 1 month or 2 months or 3 months. Okay, after 3 months, you just apply. You need to ask him. Okay, so first ஒரு மாசம் அப்ளை பண்ணுங்க, ரெண்டாவது கேளுங்க, திருப்பி 6வது மாசம் கேளுங்க. நீங்க தொடர்ந்து கேட்க ஒரு கட்டத்துல உங்க தொல்லை தாங்க முடியாம அவரே உங்களுக்கு வந்து கூப்பிட்டு உங்களுக்கு PhD இல்ல மாஸ்டர் டிகிரி கொடுப்பாரு. ஓகே, so next, what are the criteria for recommends for master degree and PhD? Because like here in South Korea, once if you get a master degree or PhD position, your professor will give only the title. So this is the title. Okay, so it is a functional products. Okay, for example, nano food. Okay, so nano food means I used to develop the nanoparticles, and mainly I used to check for the antimicrobial activity for food pathogen. So that is the thing. Okay, so nano food into a topic and you need to work. Okay, so your professor will not take care anything. At the end of the year, after 6 months or 1 year, he will ask you what is the publication, what is the patent you filed, where is the product. Adu mattum dhaan kepparu. Appa therefore, so while you are studying your BTech biotechnology or MTech biotechnology or PhD yourself, you should be equipped. Okay, you need to learn the techniques. How you learn the techniques? How you equip the techniques? It means while making your final year project, you need to develop your project based upon your research interest. Okay, so based upon the research interest, you learn some techniques. Okay, next you need to publish a paper. Okay, you need to publish the result to the scientific publications. Okay, next you need to attend the conference like this, and you need to present the conference. Okay, once if you attend the conference, you need to present the conference, you develop your self confidence. புரியுதுங்களா? So next, முக்கியமான விஷயம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, ஒரு மாஸ்டர் டிகிரி PhD இருக்கும்போது IELTS டாப்பர்ஸ் இருக்கணும். எதுக்கு IELTS டாப்பர்ஸ் வேணும்னா, once if you clear IELTS டாப்பர் ஸ்கோர், மினிமம் ஸ்கோர் 78 அது இருந்தாலே போதுங்க. அந்த ஸ்கோர் இருந்ததுன்னா உங்களுக்கு யூனிவர்சிட்டி வந்து உங்களுக்கு ஸ்காலர்ஷிப் ஃப்ரீயா கொடுத்துருவாங்க. You don't need to pay a single amount of, okay, you don't need to pay single amount. நீங்க ₹1 நீங்க பே பண்ண தேவையில்ல. உங்க IELTS ஸ்கோர்ஸ் மினிமம் 78 இருந்துச்சுன்னா, டாப் ஸ்கோர் இருந்துச்சுன்னா, உங்களுக்கு உங்களுடைய அந்த யூனிவர்சிட்டி உங்களுக்கு வந்து $1000 $2000 இந்த ஸ்காலர்ஷிப் தருவாங்க. monthly scholarship. Next, you should have minimum 2 SCI publication. குறைஞ்சது 2 SCI பேப்பரை வச்சிடணும் சயின்ஸ் எடிஷன் டெக்ஸ்ட். Don't publish your paper in unauthorized or uncategorized publications. Okay, you need to make a good quality publication. 2 paper, it may be any authors. Okay, and these are the criteria. After having fulfilling this criteria, you need to apply your research interest and your CV to the individual email. Okay, email ID. In the email ID, the professors can apply, definitely they will select you. As I mentioned earlier, so where you can develop your techniques and technology means during the final year project. For example, these are the things. Okay, so during the final year projects, you need to develop. Okay. Next, some people they have a very good interest in a pharma company. So if you want to enter into the pharma company, definitely you need to equip some techniques like GCMS, HPLC, UV, IR, spectroscopy technique, scanning electron microscope. So for biotechnology, for molecular biology, if you want to enter the molecular biology techniques, so in the biotech company, these are the techniques. Okay. So we need to degree, just what we are studying is only the degree. இப்போ நம்ம என்ன பண்றோமோ அது வெரி டிகிரி மட்டும்தான். அதை வச்சு நம்ம இது வந்து ஒரு என்ட்ரி எப்படி வந்து ஒரு ஒரு தேர்தல வாக்கு செலுத்தணும்னா for voting we need election voter ID card. Okay, just for voting. Okay, so similarly degree is just an entry, but to become a successful researcher, to become a successful professor, to become a successful technician, we need to update or you need to adapt, you need to learn several techniques. நம்மளுக்கு நிறைய equipments நம்ம வந்து கத்து வச்சிருக்கணும். For example, if you want to enter the pharma industry, these are the common techniques. You need to learn GCMS, LCMS, HPLC, UV, IR. Okay. For example, if you want to enter the biotech sector, you should have a very good cell culture technique, sequencing method, PCR methods. Okay. So these are the common methods. So as I mentioned earlier, like before coming for my postdoc, I published this kind of publications. So in this publication, these are the techniques I used. Okay, like I use cell culture method and also Western blotting and other thing. So based upon this experience, once I apply, my professor, the Korean professor or any foreign professor, he will select you easily. Okay, and this is the website. The people who are interested. So people who are interested for so this is a website, the Korea Brain Research Institute, for postdoc opportunities. So the minimum salary is $3,000 to $5,000 US dollar. For people who are interested, you can read this thing. For master degree, the minimum salary is $1,000 to $1,500 US dollar per month. I'm telling. Okay, so this is our website, KBRI, Korea Brain Research Institute. You can see here the for jobs for people who have very good technical knowledge like HPLC, GCMS, and also for molecular based techniques you can apply. And this is the for the master program. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, so in this slide I mentioned this is a professor. Okay. This is a professor, and his major is on this kind of specialization. So similarly, you can see this is another website. So in this website, you can see. So particularly people who are interested in cancer biology in Korea, a lot of research is going on for cancer biology and also in immunology. So people who are interested in immunological and cancer biology, you can apply. You can see here, this is the hospital, Asan Life Science Research Institute, and this is the email ID of the professor, a particular professor. You can mail them directly. Okay. And this is other website, BioJobs. Okay, with BioJobs, you can see this is the job like research. If you completed only the master degree, so you can go for job opportunity. For postdoc opportunities, this is for PDF. So these are the several institutes. Once if you click, for example, if I click this institute, Chumbram National University. Okay, so in this university, this professor, this is the professor name, and this is the department address, and this is the email ID. Okay, and what type of research they are undergoing? You can see in the department they are undergoing on diabetics and fatty liver. So usually, most of the techniques they use a cell culture technique. They handle the mouse and also other molecular biology technique. So these are the common technique. As I mentioned earlier, after getting your master degree or PhD, if you want to get job immediately, you need to equip with this technique like GCMS, LCMS, SPSS. These are the common technique. And for molecular biology technique, definitely you should learn PCR and sequencing and cell culture technique. So once if you learn some 2 to 3 techniques, it's easy for you to get the job. And also, you can the job stability is also strong. And this is for this is another thing. Eva Women's University, you can see. So they work on drug delivery. So since this topic related to the nano sense, so if you have some business idea, as I mentioned earlier, so you can develop the nanoparticle during your project, your master degree work, project work, or your bachelor project work. So during your project work, you can develop some nanoparticles and you can make some interaction with your physics department or some other engineering department. Okay, so like other engineering department, they develop some sensor like electrode. Okay, so you both departments, you make some collaboration work, you develop the nanoparticle and he will develop the electron and make some sensing mechanism, sensor mechanism, okay, or particular bacteria or particular enzyme. Okay, so that is one project. And next project, you can make some nano drug delivery. Okay, so I think these kind of research projects are commonly happened most of our Tamil Nadu University. So if you have some interest, particularly this kind of nano drug delivery product, lot of job opportunities, postdoc opportunities are welcome by the Korean professors. Okay, so previous slide I discussed about the master degree and PhDs, and this is the pharma companies, and so far these are the pharma companies available in India. So GlaxoSmith, Merck, Johnson. So these are the companies. Okay, so where this kind of pharmaceutical companies are employed. So these kind of pharmaceutical companies mainly, you can see from the plant products. From the plant products, they take the drugs. Okay, the plant products are used for the pharmaceutical company for drugs, and also for perfume company, and also for dye, pigment, and also these plant products are used for cosmetics and food additives. Okay, for example, Edison verum. Okay, Tamiflu. Do you know this Tamiflu? The Tamiflu, for it is a plant compound. From this plant compound they isolated the drug. This drug has been used for the treatment of influenza A virus. Okay, அந்த நம்மளுடைய காய்ச்சல் இருக்குல்ல, அந்த காய்ச்சல் நோய்க்கு டாமிஃப்ளூன்ற ஒரு மாத்திரை மருந்து கொடுக்குறாங்க. அந்த மருந்து எங்கிருந்து வந்து எடுத்திருக்கிறாங்கன்னா ஒரு பிளான்ட்ல இருந்து தான் எடுத்துக்கிறாங்க, ஒரு தாவரத்துல தான் எடுத்திருக்கிறாங்க. ஸோ அது போல இந்த தாவரத்துல இருந்து பிரிச்சு எடுக்கிறதுக்கு அதுக்கு சில டெக்னிக்ஸ் ஆகும். அந்த டெக்னிக்ஸ் தான் GCMS டெக்னிக்ஸ், HPLC டெக்னிக்ஸ், LCMS டெக்னிக்ஸ், UV ஸ்பெக்ட்ரோஸ்கோபி. இது போல ஒரு டெக்னிக்ஸ் நீங்க இந்த தொழில்நுட்பத்தை நீங்க கத்து வச்சிருந்தீங்கன்னா இந்த பார்மசூட்டிக்கல் இண்டஸ்ட்ரிக்கு நீங்க ஈஸியா உள்ள போகலாம். You can see there are a list of opportunities like quality. What are the opportunities? Like once if you can R&D, then marketing jobs, then quality students and quality control faculty jobs, then clinical research. You can go as a clinical CRO, clinical research associate, from the IPR, intellectual property, and even if you finish your IT, you can go for life science. You can go for IT jobs. Okay, so I will discuss how you can enter IT jobs. And these are the biotech companies, top biotech companies in India. You can make a note. So Biocon, Serum Institute of India, Panacea Biotech, Piramal Healthcare, OCAR. So these are the top institutes. If you go to this institute, if you click, you can go to the website and you can check. Okay, for example, if our institute, for example, I will show you. So I click on one company. You can see this is the company website. Okay, in this company website, if you go to the career option, okay, so you go to the current job openings. In the current job openings, you can see these are the current job openings. Okay, so when you need to do this kind of thing, okay, so that's why again I repeat, பருவத்தோட ஒட்ட ஒழுகல். According to the recent technology, you need to update. ஓகே, ஒரு எந்த தொழில் செய்யறாங்களோ பாருங்களேன். இப்ப நம்ம வீதியில ஒரு தெரு இருக்கும். ஒரு தெருவுல ஒரு 10 கடை இருக்கும். ஒரு 20 வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடி பார்த்தா ஒரு 10 கடை இருந்திருக்கும். அந்த 10 கடையில ஒரு 2 கடை தான் இன்னைக்கு வந்து டாப்பா இருந்திருக்கும். இன்னி வரைக்கும் ஓடி இருப்பாங்க. கரெக்டுங்களா? மீதி 8 கடை வந்து பார்த்தா லாஸ்ல போயிட்டு இருக்கும். அது ஏன் லாஸ்ல போச்சு நீங்க ஆராய்ஞ்சு பாத்தீங்கன்னா, அவங்களுக்கு தனியே அப்டேட் பண்ணி இருக்க மாட்டாங்க. ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், 20 years before you can see one small stationery shops. ஓகே, ஒரு சின்ன ஒரு ஸ்டேஷனரி ஒரு பெட்டி கடை வச்சிருப்பாங்க. அப்புறம் ஒரு 10 வருஷம் கழிச்சு என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, அந்த பெட்டி கடையே ரீசார்ஜ் கடை, செல்போன் ரீசார்ஜ் பண்ற கடை வச்சிருப்பாங்க. இன்னைக்கு பாத்தீங்கன்னா இன்னைக்கு இருக்கிற மாடர்ன் டெக்னாலஜி அப்டேட் பண்ணிருப்பாங்க. புரியுதுங்களா? அப்ப we need to update not only for business, even for us also. If I get my PhD, if I have master degree, if I complete my master degree, முடிச்சிட்டு according to the company I need to update my techniques. இப்போ நான் GC, if I have experience in GC, next I need to learn other equipments. I need to learn PCR technique. I need to learn other sequencing technique. So in case if I don't get job, if my company closes, okay, if my company closes my GC, my pharma company is closed, I can go to the biotech sector. If my biotech sector is closed, I can go to the cell culture sector. நம்ம அப்படி மாத்தினே போலாம். Okay, so you need to update. For example, if I finish my PhD, அப்பா எனக்கு PhD முடிச்சிட்டேன், ஏதோ ஒரு இடத்துல உட்கார்ந்தா போதும், you should not sit. You need to update. You need to do an active researches. So most of the I found some common thing. After finishing the PhD, most of the people they sit on the chair, just that's all. அவங்க செட்டில் நினைச்சுக்கிறாங்க. அப்படி இல்ல. PhD is nothing but just you are eligible to do research. அது வந்து உங்களுக்கு வந்து ஒரு அடையாளம். PhDன்றது நீங்க ஆய்வு கட்டுரை, அதாவது ஒரு ஆய்வை நீங்க ஒரு ஒரு தொழில்நுட்பத்தோட நீங்க அதை பப்ளிஷ் பண்ணுவீங்க, அதை சமைப்பீங்கன்னு ஒரு எலிஜிபிலிட்டி. பட் யூ நீட் டு பப்ளிஷ், யூ நீட் டு ரிசர்ச் more and more. If you see top researchers, if you see top businessmen, they will adapt and they will work continuously. படிச்சுட்டே இருப்பாங்க. ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், இஃப் யூ see a political person, ஒரு அரசியல்வாதி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா தொடர்ந்து அவங்க வந்து திடீர்னு ஒரு ஸ்பீச் கொடுப்பாங்க, திடீர்னு படிச்சுட்டே இருப்பாங்க. ஸோ அது போல அவங்க அப்டேட் பண்ணிட்டே இருப்பாங்க. ஓகே, ஸோ சிமிலர்லி if you are in a bachelor degree or master degree at the final year or third year or fourth year, better you go to your interest. What type of interest? If you're interested in immunology, if you're interested in biochemistry, if you're interested in biotechnology, go to that particular department. Okay, so you can see here head department, like business development. So in this career, in this company, so if I selected the current job openings, this is the head department, business development. For this business development post, since it is a pharma company, even though you completed BTech biotechnology or MTech biotechnology, if you have some MBA level in marketing or MBA level in finance, you can apply. சில பேருக்கு வந்து due to the parents force or due to our uncle or relative force pressure, they choose their biotechnology. சில பேர் வந்து அப்பா அம்மாவோட வற்புறுத்தல, இல்ல வேற ஏதாவது கோர்ஸ் கிடைக்கல வற்புறுத்தல பயோடெக்னாலஜி படிச்சிருப்பாங்க, இல்ல மைக்ரோபயாலஜி படிப்பாங்க, ஏதோ ஒரு கோர்ஸ் படிப்பாங்க. ஆனா அவங்களுக்குள்ள ஒரு நல்ல பிசினஸ் பண்ணணும்னு ஒரு சிந்தனை இருக்கும். நல்லா பேசுவாங்க சில பேர்லாம். அப்படியே ஒரு நல்லா பேசி ஒரு இப்போ இது ஒரு பொருள், இந்த பொருளை ஒரு 100 ரூபாய் பொருள் 1000 ரூபாய்க்கு வித்துருவாங்க. ஸோ இட் இஸ் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் டேலண்ட். ஓகே, ஸோ அவங்க என்ன பண்ணாங்கன்னா, யூ கேன் சூஸ், even though you computer biotechnology or life science course, you can choose your MBA course. நீங்க MBA படிச்சீங்கன்னா இந்த pharma company you can become as a manager, assistant manager in business development. Okay, next as a technician, so you can become a research officer in the toxicology section, genotoxic section. Okay, so this toxicology section, the experience is animal handling. Mouse handle பண்ண தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும், rabbit handle பண்ண தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும், and also cytotoxic cell line culture handle பண்ணிருக்கணும். Next, chemistry section, you need to operate HPLC, GCMS, so other chemical methods. Okay. So this is the company. Okay, as I mentioned, current job opening. These are the openings. So now at the same company, you can see these are the divisions. These are the divisions. IND divisions, safety pharmacology division, genotoxic division, bioanalytics division. Okay, so now I choose the bioanalytic division. For example, you can see these are the equipments: LSR, LCMS, HPLC, toxic analysis. Okay, mouse model, HPLC. Okay, so now coming to this previous slide. So while studying your bachelor degree, master, or PhD, if you explain these kind of techniques, any three, GCMS, LPC, ரெண்டு போதும். இங்க PCR sequencing ரெண்டு போதும். இதெல்லாம் ஒண்ணு போதும். அப்ப அப்படி உங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்சிச்சுனா you can see the job. புரியுங்களா? It is easy for you this job. Okay? So next is these are the thing. So these are the other thing. So this is for the pharma companies. Orchid Pharma, you can see these are the top, these are the vacancies you can see here. And this is for biotech companies. As I mentioned earlier, for biotech companies, you need to check the PCR, other protein expression, other things. So these are the common techniques you should learn. Okay, some people who have very much interested in life science, like in IT jobs. Okay, so those people, like you can go for this kind of clinical data management course. So how we can apply for clinical management course? Like if you you can see, so the minimum salary is 2 lakh to 5 lakh. Okay, and even 10 lakhs per annum also is there, and 20 lakhs per annum is there. And also, so these are the courses like clinical trial management, monitoring, medical writing, independent auditing, and clinical research training. Okay, so if you undergo some training like if you spend some 50,000 to 1 lakh rupees like investment, okay, if you finish this kind of courses, certificate courses, it is easy for you to get job in IT industries. Okay, so these are the things: medical writing in TCS, Infosys, in Cognizant Technology. So the IT sector is there. Okay, so in this IT sector, these are the major jobs. Okay. Next, for bioinformatics, so some people, so since you are from engineering field, you have very good knowledge in bioinformatics. So if you have some bioinformatics knowledge, so you need to undergo some course like SAS, SAS program. Okay, so you can see the salary. There are plenty of opportunities like a clinical research associate, senior research analysis. So there are plenty of opportunities. You can see the salary is also high. And also particularly in abroad, in US, UK, South Korea, if you have very good bioinformatics skill, definitely you can get the jobs minimum 3,000 to 5,000 US dollar per month. Okay, and so this is the things. If you have very good experience in SAS program, you can get very good job. You can see the biostatistician job, 81,000 to 1 lakh. Okay. And some people who are very much interested in hospitals. In hospitals, you can see this is the for biochemistry and microbiology. You can go for this thing. And medical representative, some people have very good knowledge in have very good language fluency, so they can go for medical representative. Okay, so this thing, even if you are educated, if you're highly qualified, you have a degree, only if you have some extra additional talent, you can succeed. For example, Dhanush. Okay, so previously you have some very previously, if you know some hero means you have a very good color, you should be tall, you have bulk mass, bulk body, but no, he broke everything. இப்ப தனுஷ் எடுத்துட்டீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா அவர் நடிக்கிறாரு, பாடுறாரு, ப்ரொடக்ஷன் பண்றாரு, ஓகே, ப்ரொடக்ஷன் பண்றாரு, கதை எழுதுறாரு, பாட்டு எழுதுறாரு, ஓகே, நல்லா டான்ஸ் ஆடுறாரு. See, these are the additional technique. Similarly, if you're a researcher, you should have very good writing skill, you should have a very good presentation skill, you should have very good techniques, and also you should develop a self-confidence. So if we have this kind of techniques, it is easy for us to become a successful biotechnician, and also we can become a successful human being. Okay, so for faculties, so those who are interested, you can go for DST, Indo-Korea projects. So particularly in engineering science and health and medical science, applications are limited. Okay. So in this YouTube channel, I discuss about the job opportunities in South Korea. So particularly for students, you study well, and also whatever the products you are developing, it should be useful to the society. So finally, I thanks the Professor Jacob Justin for giving me this opportunity, and also the management, Dr. Babu Manogaran and Mrs. Desi Priya, the principal and the directors for giving me these opportunities. So thank you. Kamsahamnida.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable information regarding the usage of nanoparticles in its applications, and also for inspiring our students with your enlightening lecture in higher study opportunities in South Korea, and also for telling how important it is to at least give 7 years of time to ourselves for us to make a place for ourselves in our industry. Thank you, sir. And also, you have actually made the seminar very interesting by adding quotes from Tirukural. Thank you, sir. Now, I cordially welcome Dr. Justin Pakya Jacob to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, one and all, for joining with us in this webinar program. So at this moment, I'd like to take this opportunity to place on record my hearty thanks to our Honorable Chairman, Dr. B. Babu Manogaran sir, Managing Director, Madam Jesi Priya, and Director, Mr. Sasi Segar sir, for their support and encouragement. I thank our principal, Dr. Vaddi Sesagiri Rao, and D. Ma'am, Dr. Parvadavardhani, for their constant support and directions. I am grateful to our today's speaker and the real hero, Dr. Arokya Raj, for his valuable talk on the synthesis and the applications of different nanomaterials, and also explaining the opportunities available in South Korea for our students. Thank you, sir, for your excellent presentation. I thankfully remember the enthusiastic guidance and timely support by our HOD, Dr. G. Srikumar, and I am thankful to Dr. Renuka ma'am for the advice. For the smooth conduct of this 3-day webinar, a team of student coordinators along with Madam Ivarani had done a wonderful job. Thank you, team, for your tireless support. And without the presence of audience, there is no meaning in conducting such a program. Even though the situation is not conducive and we all facing a pandemic and medical emergency everywhere, a good number of participants have joined and graced this occasion. Once again, I extend my sincere thanks to all. Thank you so much. Now it's over to.
Thank you, sir. I once again thank the speaker for joining us today and sharing his valuable time with us, and all the participants for your patience during the entire session. I would like to inform tomorrow's session will be addressed by Dr. Palayan Muralidharan, who will be addressing us on the alternative experimental models for screening. Thank you